Good morning. Welcome to London Liverpool Street at 4 o'clock in the fucking morning.
We'll be getting on the train behind us, departing at 4:10. And this is our third episode of the series,
Yes,
re-nationalisation, Greater Anglia edition.
Greater Anglia edition.
That's the 410 Stansted Airport over there.
Not
Gonna be getting it
ridiculously
all the
early.
way to Stansted Airport and back.
Not ridiculously early at all. This is actually the earliest we've got up for one of these. And this is also the first one of the series to actually have the first service run out of London. You remember with South Western Railway, the first service run from Guildford was a replacement bus.
Yes.
And then with CTC, the first service ran from Shoebury. But with Greater Anglia, it's running from London. We're actually doing something quite interesting for this because you may know Stansted Express runs along the West Anglia main line. Now, we've actually calculated that we would be able to make it to Stansted Airport, switch around, get back to here, and
do
be
the
able
Great Eastern
to
Main Line.
head over to the first Great Eastern nationalised service as well. So that's what we're gonna do.
It's going to be a double-barreled episode. Two very interesting services.
Yes.
All in one go.
Two
Not
very-
all in one go, but one episode.
Two very interesting services in one episode, and three very empty bank accounts in one episode. So without any further ado, let's roll! And we've made it to Stansted Airport. Apologies for the lack of B-roll through there. As you can see, it was a little thing called pitch black outside, and there really wasn't much we could do apart from get interior shots of the flirt, and we got those, so B-roll, yeah. But we're here at Stansted Airport. The train's journey has finished, and that was the first nationalised service along the West Anglia main line, and it was the first nationalised Greater Anglia service.
But now we're going to be heading back on the same train back to London Liverpool Street, where we'll be boarding the first nationalised service on the Great Eastern Main Line. Yep.
Yes,
The
so
very, very Great Eastern Main Line.
we've got about a 20-minute turnaround in London. That's enough time to get some Gregs. So let's get on the train, let's get to London, let's get some Gregs, let's go to the Great Eastern.
Yeah.
Wait, what is Greg's?
The Great.
Sacrilege! Right, and we're here at Liverpool Street again. Sorry for the cut, we were asleep. We're at Liverpool Street again. There's a 7:20. It's the second train we're getting on. Explain why.
Basically, the first train we were getting on to Stansted Airport departed so early that we were able to get back to Liverpool Street before the first service to Harwich International leaves.
Yes, and this is the first one along the Great Eastern main line, so we get to do both. Yippee!
One disappointment: there are no Great British Railway stickers, unlike on the Shepperton service and on the Shoebury service from prior episodes. So that's one inconsistency I would say is a little bit disappointing, but we're here still.
We're here, and we're gonna get on because the train leaves in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So let's get on. Right, and we're here at Harwich International. We've made it all the way. As you can see, there's a big fuck-off ferry right there named Sir David Attenborough, pumping out a bunch of gases into the atmosphere.
Whoa!
Hooray! I think Sir David Attenborough would absolutely love that.
He'd be proud, very proud.
Yes, we arrived here on a very nice electric train, very nice green electric train, very carbon neutral. You know, we're being good people. And yes, so this was the first nationalised Great Eastern service. We went on the first one up the West Anglia Main Line, and now we went on the first one up the Great Eastern Main Line. And there are a few things to go over. Obviously, nationalisation. This is the third one. It's in full force. It's in full swing. Great British Railways is going ahead, and it is good. It's a good thing. You know, the railways are coming back into public ownership. This is good. We can only hope that it gets better from here. Like things like rolling stock comes back into public ownership, and eventually maybe even rolling stock manufacturing comes back into public ownership. That would be incredibly good. But there is a caveat to Greater Anglia coming back into public ownership, and I'll hand over to you to explain that.
Greater Anglia has already been the best performing operator for 2 years in a row now. So both in customer satisfaction and in reliability. So the question remains: will the service actually be improved under Great British Railways, or will it actually decline because it's got farther to fall than other TOCs?
Indeed.
But I'm optimistic.
It's got further to fall than other TOCs, but hopefully it will get better, or at least it will stay as consistently good as it is right now, because there's no two ways about it. And this is, as a Greater Anglia local, Greater Anglia is a fucking good TOC. Like, Greater Anglia are reliable. They operate a very good service. Their stations are nice and clean, well maintained. A lot of them have been done up in a really nice, like, sort of modernist way that also respects the original architecture. Greater Anglia has done an amazing job. So I am, curious as to what it's going to be like now, because Greater Anglia is a very, very, very good and competent TOC. Will it change? Will it stay the same? And if it changes, will it be for better, for worse? We don't know. We really don't know.
One more thing that I'd like to add is that I'm hoping that something like BREL will be re-established so that future rolling stock procurement can be a lot better than what we've got currently.
Eventually rolling stock manufacturing and procurement will be publicly owned. Like, this is the actual operations is the first step. The next thing we have to do is get rid of the Roscoes and bring the actual rolling stock itself back into the public ownership. And then with that, we can segue very nicely into the actual manufacturing of the rolling stock coming back into public ownership as well. And that would be great, because I think we've talked about this before, but the rolling stock issue is really prevalent, because right now, rolling stock around the world is currently being built by private companies. Now, that's all very well when you have companies like Siemens that are really good. But for most private companies, the incentive is to build the cheapest train possible and sell it at the highest but most competitive price possible, and also make it, to a quality to where the train operator will come running back after 20 or 30 years to buy a new set of trains after that. So
it's all about profit maximization.
It's all about profit. Whereas if it were to be publicly owned, the set of priorities would be different. If it were to be publicly owned, the priority would be to make the best train possible, as to not spend a shit ton of money on repairs and maintenance and all of that jazz. So really, if we want good trains, if we want the standards of like comfort and ride quality and all of that and reliability that we had, then I think we do need to bring rolling stock manufacturing back into the public space. We need to bring it back into public ownership.
Also, if we want cheaper costs down the line, because the cost to lease these trains out is just it just contributes to the ticket price in such a way that we would have significantly lower ticket prices. And obviously, when you build your trains, such as you cut corners again and again, you're gonna run into problems when they inevitably crash or don't turn on. There are increased service fees.
Yeah, and
When you build them to good quality to begin with, they tend to cost less in the long run.
yeah, and that's really the thing. When yes, it would be. This is the kind of thing that politicians nowadays don't seem to get. They don't seem to understand that short term. They don't seem to understand that while in the short term it might seem like a lot of money, in the long term it will actually save them money instead of the other way around. Because right now they seem to think, oh, we'll make just a very quick short term small investment to avoid making a bigger investment that will benefit the long term. So it's lots of short term little solutions, sort of just putting a band-aid over things. Oh, goodbye 720. Legendary train. What a train. Anyway, I actually quite like 720s. I think they're quite good. They're nice. They're cute. They've got like a little face and they're reliable, which is that they're an Aventra, and they are what? A reliable Aventra?
One of the better adventures.
Yeah.
But
the only problem is a 3x2.
Yeah.
But yes, that aside, it is really prevalent because we have to think. You know, we have all these issues with ticket prices, and you know the UK is up in arms. Bring manufacturing back to the UK. Politicians don't seem to understand. They make a lot of short-term investments to just put a band-aid over the wider issue, whereas they don't seem to understand that if they were to actually make a bigger investment but invested into a long-term solution, that wouldn't be putting a band-aid over the issue. It would be actually fixing the issue, actually getting things done. That's why it's so difficult nowadays for railway infrastructure to get built, because they're just like, oh, we'll just make a bus route instead because it costs less in the short term, but actually in the long term, a railway would be much more profitable.
What the government doesn't seem to realise is that there are benefits to the railway existing other than immediate profit, because they run these cost-benefit analyses, and they just often decide not to build something, maybe a railway connection to a town that might need it, just because they don't reckon they'd make the money back from it in, say, 10 years.
Whereas we're not looking at 10 years because that's short-term things, and that's what the governments of today seem to just think on. They seem to think of the short-term solutions, but we're not thinking about the short term. In say 20, 30 years, yes, that railway connection will most definitely make the money back. And it's even been shown that there is such high demand for better railway connections in the UK, like the Ashington line that recently opened, that has already made its money back. Crossrail has already made its money back.
Induced demand exists, guys.
And that's in under 10 years. So it's not even like it's a long-term benefit for like a long-term investment. No, you can even come at it from the short-term investment point of view, put a bit more money in, railways will make that money back tenfold than if you just put a bus route on there with less capacity that people are less likely to take. They'd rather just want to take the car. Whereas if you put a nice, comfortable, smooth train along that line, people are going to be much more inclined to take it.
Trains are nicer. Trains are faster.
And greener.
Trains are toilets.
Yes. Like that trains are generally a much more pleasant experience. And I say this as someone who I like buses, right? Buses are cool, right? But they have their place. Buses are great for like small local journeys.
Yeah.
But in terms of covering these longer distances that the government just wants to shove buses on, trains are so much better. But
In general.
that being said, Greater Anglia has been nationalised. Will it be good or will it be bad? We only have yet to see. But, well, the next nationalisation, I believe, is West Midlands Trains. That is in February. So until then, we will see you then in West Midlands.
Yeah, we'll see you in episode 4.
See you in episode 4, and thank you for watching the Transport Trio.
The only channel that's covering every nationalisation
Yes.
of every TOC.
We're dedicated, and my
Yes.
arm is starting to hurt. So we will see you next week. Yeah, I'm gonna meet the 12-minute mark on the